Hey everyone, thanks very much for joining in. So, when I first started this journey, I really didn't have the best setup, so I was just doing everything through the laptop itself. But now that I have kind of things situated properly, I wanted to, in the beginning, I said this too, I will revisit some things. So, there's a couple, but there's one specifically that I wanted to revisit, and this is Ren's The Tale of Jenny and Screech. So, this is going to be lyric analysis. This is going to be talk about lyrics. We're going to talk about the message. We're going to talk a little bit more in depth about this. And I know there's many more bands that I have to check out, and I will. But this has been something that I've been wanting to do and slowly start integrating things that I have maybe watched, but I didn't quite get maybe full grasp of it. So let's go right into it. So thanks very much for joining in. Thank you for being part of my channel. And let's see this masterpiece one more time because I feel like this deserves a little bit more in-depth conversation. So we're going to start this. And I apologize if there's going to be ads popping up. I'm going to try to skip them as they go along. But let's check it out. All right. He's one of the artists you can go back to and you can listen to this multiple times, and every single time you listen to it, it just gets, it's like you're listening for the first time. Even though you know what's coming up, you still, when you listen to it, it's just so good.
It was a quiet, dark night in an empty street somewhere in London City. Jenny walked alone, she was dragging her feet. She was heading back home to sleep. Well, she knew this town, she knew this floor, because she walked it about 1,000 times before she wanted to escape. Can you blame? Well, on the very same night, in a different place, there walked this hooded young youth by the name of James. He was 14 years old and out of his brain, he'd been smoking ganja with the boys. James, he grew up to be a kid of the street. His mates called him Screech, he was quick on his feet. He was a liar, a thief, at 14 years old, the devil had set his sights on his soul. As Jenny walked home all alone, she felt scared. Usually she was alright, but it was like...
If you watch this and you know what happens at the end, now listening to it from the beginning, it just sets such a different story. How two different paths from the same path, separated, can come merging together to, and it's almost like a destiny that this has happened. So one thing that I've noticed also is I did a little bit of reading there, and because he says London City far from pretty 2005, this is something that's happening a lot, and especially on the empty streets where the kids will get drunk, and then the bad thoughts will come across and say, hey, I want to do something stupid, and doing something stupid like that ends up being somebody that you've lost, that you've been looking for your whole life.
There was something in the air, a divine intervention telling her to beware, maybe intuition bogging her and making her so scared. Sirens sound in the distance at the beat of Jenny's feet, a symphony of the night that echoes crime on London streets. Jenny turns a corner, their eyes they meet. Our poor girl Jenny, a boy named Screech. Give me all your money, bitch, give it to me. If you cooperate, then you'll soon be free. I want your purse, your phone, don't fucking look at me. I mean it, bitch, are you listening to me? Jenny frees his statue like a lady shake.
Also notice when he's talking about his Screech versus when he's talking about his Jenny, it's more, when Screech is more aggressive, it's more because Screech is actually threatening her. He is telling her, hey, if you don't do this, I'm fear I'm going to make a bad choice and there's no going back for me. I'm going to do this. But when he sings about her, it's much softer. It's much more. It's such a clear, different point of view that he makes when he talks about these different people.
Stalactite, feel like liquid nitrogen in the dark night. She tried to find strength to move, but stayed as still as a statue in high-heeled shoes. What the hell you playing at? You playing games with me? I swear to fucking God, I'll slice the rosy off your cheeks. You think I don't mean it, girl? You don't know me. The last thing you see will be a boy called Screech.
Right, and that's also an interesting point. She is trying to appease to his humanity, but he doesn't want to reach that. But that also comes from a lot of different upbringing. That comes from the way Screech has grown up. That comes from the everything that he has to go through, and then he just doesn't want to reach that humanity. He doesn't want to reach inside and feel weak. He is completely lost, and the only way out of that loss is more anger, more doing bad things in order to reach that feeling that he is looking for.
Reach with the sheath of the blade, with the teeth that could bite through steel and slice concrete, and he swung possessed with the devil in his chest, and the statue she was turned to butter in her breath. It was a quiet, dark night in an empty street somewhere in London City. Jenny lay still on the cold concrete. She's found somewhere to sleep. Well, she knew this town, she knew this floor, 'cause she'd walked here about 1,000 times before. I guess that she escaped. It's such a shame.
I guess she escaped because she was laying on the ground floor. So that's what happened, and we know later on what, at the end, what he talks about. But she wanted to escape this whole time, but unfortunately, the way she escaped was through a bad fate. This is the story of Screech. Some of his guitar playing, such as this, it almost has that Renaissance feeling of the Renaissance melody. Sorry. When you can play guitar and when you can tell a tale, when you can tell tales, you can use a guitar either as a beautiful instrument to accompany you what you're trying to say, or you can use a guitar as a notes to lay the tale on top of, because the tale is more important. Music is important, of course it is, but what he's doing over here, you hear the melody and the scales that he's playing is it's about the story. It's not, he's just using it as a intro and outro and a follow through, while the story takes the main point, and the story is the main star of this piece. Screech's Tale.
Our story, it starts right at the end of the life of poor Jenny, clocked out like Big Ben. This Screech, dear boy, where did he go? He melted into the black night just like snow.
So he's continuing Jenny's tale, but he is just mentioning her, but also he's now drifting into Screech's tale. But also one thing that I noticed is that when he's singing his part right now, it's a little bit more agony. It's a little bit, oh, poor me. Oh my gosh, me. It's, what am I going to do? It's that type of feeling that he is putting into this beginning, especially.
Patrick, man. Let me in, please open the door. I think I fucked up, Patrick, really fucked up.
Now is the panic. Now, so this is the continuation. After just what happened to Jenny, he is now realizing, oh my gosh, what do I do?
Man, I'm not sure. I got crazy, left this lady lying still on the floor.
Yes.
I think I killed her, Patrick. Come on, man, I can't knock no more. But Screech kept on knocking till his knuckles became sore. But there's no sign of Patrick down at number 54. No refuge for our villain, for the bitter hands of fate, with something far more sinister in mind that does away.
He plays this so brilliantly.
Hey, babe, are you in? Nah, nothing really. I'm just a bit tired. Listen, can I swing around yours for a few moments? I just really miss you, babe. What the fuck do you mean you're busy? You fucking bitch! For fuck.
Right. So when you are in that panic, you start reaching out to people and things and everybody that you have hurt, and then you start being a lot nicer. And that's a lot of that goes into psychology of the person, especially when you did something bad, such as Screech did in this moment. You will reach out to everybody that you can just to kind of get some peace of mind in order to process everything. But because you have been doing bad things to everybody, because you've wronged a lot of people, then all of a sudden everything comes crashing down because everybody's had enough, and that it's such a juxtaposition of two paths leading into one where it's finally crushing and crumbling everything on top of you because you did not Screech did not pay attention to other people's feelings, out of how he hurt other people. He just went through everybody, and then now nobody is going to help him.
Fuck's sakes! Siren sounds approaching like a banshee in the night. The shrill cry of justice cutting like the sharpest knife. But Screech was never one to run, not one to miss a fight. One hand upon his blade, he turned to face the blue lights. Come on then, you fucking cunts, let's fucking have you then. I am Screech, I'm the boss, I'm the ender of men. You think that uniform you're wearing means that you own these streets? These are my fucking streets, and they call me fucking Screech. Richard was an officer who stood at 6'3", working London on the night shift. What he didn't think he'd see was a boy running at him like an animal possessed. With no time to hesitate, he fired 4 bullets at Screech's chest.
Right, so that adrenaline and everything that he's just went through, nobody's answering his calls, nobody's going to help him. He is alone, he is in the dark, he's hearing the sirens, there's panic, there's thoughts, there's everything. So in that moment it says, okay, what else you got? I will go through it. And so everything that you thought that made you invisible and invincible and just came crashing, because there's always justice for the things that have been wronged. So I love these tales that he does. Four.
Story, it ends right at the start.
For me.
Young Screech and poor Jenny lying one street apart. An officer shaken by the boy that he claimed. 2 bodies lay lifeless, and it's such a shame. It's such a shame.
He was 14 years old. He had a bright future ahead of him, but because he got tangled up in everything, and that everything that he's done to this point is just, this is the end of his path. And now, not just that, he's talking about the officer who actually shot him, and now that officer has to deal with that too. This part is absolutely my favorite, from the singing, from the guitar playing, from the way he wrapped up the whole story is just fantastic. his notes are so clean, and his notes are, there's no breaking, it's everything is played absolutely beautifully. That's beautiful.
London City, far from pretty. 2005.
2005. So there was as far as my understanding, during the time, there was a lot of code switching as far as what was consist of emergencies, and how the emergencies were reported through the calls, through the emergencies, through the police as well.
Lady down in Paddington is fighting just to stay alive. Rhythmic beats and bloodstained sheets. Our lady weeps, she's tired and frail. To set the scene, we must rewind the hands of time for Violet's tale.
To set the scene, we must rewind the hands of time for Violet's tale. So, at the end of the day, this was Violet's life that got taken, but also Screech's life that got taken too. But because Screech has made that bad decision, 2 lives got taken and 1 got ruined, because that officer is now going to have to deal with this for the rest of his life as well. Oh.
Violet was a silent girl, grew up with violent starts. Her mother was a drinker and her father was a bastard. Every night he took her tie but never left the room.
Her mother was a drinker, but her father was a bastard. But this also, now come to find out, is how Screech grew up too, which is such, again, juxtaposition of how 2 people go through the same abuse and same violent upbringing, and they go a different path. But at the end of the day, because of that violent upbringing, they're back into the same path.
I'll spare you with the things he did, I'm sure her mother knew. Violet was a silent girl, she moved out at 16. A semi-detached council flat, paid for by a welfare scheme. Packing shelves at Tesco, stacking jars like pickled bricks.
Yeah.
She met a boy named Stevie and he was a little prick.
And that's also such an interesting too, position as well, because that's all she knew. That's all her life she knew. So she didn't know the true love. She didn't know the nice. She didn't know the kindness. She just knew what her mother knew and what her mother went through. And so, because also her mother was a drinker, that's the type of upbringing that she went through, and that's such a sad thing to kind of go through, because you don't feel that love, you don't feel that a priority, you don't feel as a priority, you don't feel loved, you don't feel like you're somebody that needs to be cherished. You just feel like somebody that's there, that's going to get thrown away, and you need to find your own life. But because everything that she has seen in her life so far before, that's all she knew. And so when she met Stevie, she said, okay, this is somebody that I deserve.
Violet was a silent girl, and Violet, she fell fast. See, Stevie was a wrong un, but he sure knew how to charm her.
Yes.
Every night he...
And that's also because when you have a narcissist, when you have somebody who is looking to take advantage of somebody who has especially gone through that much crap in their life, it's an easy hook for the narcissist to latch on and just use and abuse any way they want to.
Took her tie, but never left the room. History repeats itself. He'd paint her black and blue and
He painted her black and blue. This part right here.
She never stood a chance. The devil comes to dance. Violet, why are you always so quiet? On her bedroom door and he's irate. He's been drinking and smoking, he's up late. And he stands by her bedside, she shakes, but her eyes stay shut. You fucking slut, I know you're up. And he pinches her eyelids and folds them up. Violet, why are you lying to me, Violet? She stays silent, things turn violent. That's the sound of his fists when they fall like a crashing pilot. Hit like hailstones, one to the collarbone, full force, full blown, blood's black bone, crack, knick, knack, paddy whack.
Right, and so the way he describes this is such a violent, and interesting, her name is Violet, but it's such, because she endures so much violence, is the way he paints this picture is she just has nowhere to go. She has nobody that loves her, and this is the only place that she's in, because where is she gonna go? Who is going to take care of her? Nobody. So the only person that she has now that's possibly is loving her is this guy who is also a giant narcissist and a very violent person who is going to go ahead and just abuse her, which is just scary when to think about it. Not just now, but to this day, but every single day there's people who are dealing with this, and yeah, it's terrible.
One to the jaw when the tooth spat, detached fist connects and disconnects a bone. A quick deflect to misdirect the blow, but nonetheless his punches met her throat. Such a mess, he's left her bruised and broke. Violet.
Right, because he's stronger than her. He is more manipulative than her. He is much more powerful than her. And what can she do? She can just back up, and hoping that she can redirect some of the blows, that she can just survive to the next day.
Why are you always so silent, Violet? Why are you such a little liar, Violet? Do you think I want to do this, Violet? In character, she stays silent. Well, say something, Violet. Silence. Fucking say something, Violet. Silence.
When anger takes over, when adrenaline takes over, you don't know what has happened until it's happened. And that's why it's so important when you deal with something like this, when you're dealing with people who have gone through things, who have gone through trauma, that you listen, that you pay attention, that you understand. You don't have to provide a solution. You don't have to provide a life-saving moment. But what you need to do is you need to understand. You need to listen. You need to pay attention and make sure what they're telling you is not something you take for granted. And that's something that's so easy to do, but at the same time it's the hardest thing to do.
Wait. Say something, Violet. Not one word. She stays quiet. London City, far from pretty, 2005. A lady down in Paddington is fighting just to stay alive. The doctor, in a state of shock, saw something here so very wrong. See, Violet, she was pregnant. Poor Violet, she was 9 months gone. Turning to the doctor, Violet broke her silence and she cried, "If I'm to die right here tonight, please let my baby stay alive." The doctor soon regained composure, called the surgeon to come in. As Violet's world turned to black, the curtains closed, the lights went dim. In London City, far from pretty, 2005. A lady down in Paddington just lost the fight to stay alive. A tragedy
or a miracle. It happened on these very streets. Two twins are lying side by side. A girl named Jenny and a boy named Screech.
Violet was their mom. This is what Violet went through, and Jenny has also witnessed this, and she didn't grow up to see a mom. So this is such a amazing piece of music and an amazing piece of tale that is just absolutely brilliantly told. And the way he kind of provides a future, present, and a past all together at the same time and rolls it in and makes it into a one cohesive thing is absolutely amazing. This has been one of my favorites, and mainly because the way he tells a story, the way he progresses these chords, the way the music is implied in this, it's just beautifully done. So yeah, thank you very much for being part of my channel. I wanted to do a little bit more analysis on this because I feel like tales like this deserve a little bit more attention, and like I said, now that I have a little bit of steady equipment, it's easier to kind of go through it, and I listened to it before. It's now easier to comprehend it a little bit better because he has packed a lot of things in there that are just so deep, that are so important, because this happens every single day and nobody sees it until it's too late. So if you see somebody, help them. Be kind, listen, pay attention, and don't judge. So I hope everybody's having a good day. I hope everybody's having a good evening whenever you're watching this. And much more music coming up and much more analysis coming up on some of the things we listen to. So thank you very much for joining. Thank you for being part of my channel. And I cannot wait to see what else is coming up down the line. So have a good one.